This student isn't afraid to bring up the church's dark history, but Cliff's amazing answer flips the whole conversation.
Like, why should I believe that these people, what they're saying is true? Because if you recall back in time, the church was in a position of power, and people tend to abuse power. So why not maintain the church's power, and so they can, like, make money off of it? Didn't the church officials make a lot of money off the church? Didn't they used to sell tickets into heaven? Am I correct or incorrect?
You're right, that happened. Do you think those are the dudes who wrote the Gospels?
Nope.
What happened to the guys who wrote the Gospels? Did they get tickets and get money and drive BMWs? What happened to them, sir? Historically, what happened to Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Peter, James, Simon the Zealot, Thaddeus, Bartholomew? What happened to those guys?
You tell me.
They all got killed for their insistence that they saw Jesus risen from the dead. So, you see, that's why I'm asking you, sir, why are you credible? See, you've got to be very careful the way you answer that question, right? I mean, what determines credibility? First of all, you better get the facts right. And the facts are that all the guys in the first century who wrote the Gospels, who wrote the letters that we have in the New Testament, they didn't earn a dime, they didn't get any power, they had no popularity. Instead, they all got crucified or stoned or sawed in two, put to death for what they claimed to have seen.
I won't argue with you on the intentions of religion when it started. Noble and probably peaceful, but now it's outdue its date. Forgive me to say. Causes more death and destruction now than it probably intended to do when it first started.
You know, that's incredibly narrow-minded.
No.
If I dismiss science because the Nazis abused science, that's incredibly narrow-minded.
But the church used to dismiss science.
Just because the Christian church has done some horrible things tells you nothing about Christ. It tells you a lot about those hypocritical Christians. If you, sir, were to ask me, hey, Cliff, why aren't you Muslim? And if I were to say to you, because of the terrorists who blew up the World Trade Center on 9/11, I'd be a narrow-minded bigot. You asked me a serious question. Cliff, why didn't you trust Muhammad? I better have the open-mindedness to go to the source document, the Quran, and find out, what did Muhammad teach? How did Muhammad treat people? If I reject Muhammad because he's been misrepresented by some terrorists, I'm a narrow-minded, prejudiced bigot. Similarly, if you reject Jesus Christ because of the Salem witch trials, the Inquisition, or the Crusades, you, sir, are a narrow-minded bigot. Christ obviously didn't call for the Salem witch trials, or the Inquisition, or the Crusades. He called for us to love and respect each other, not to wipe each other out. Make sense?